And because I know that I'm having an issue with the, what do you call it, observations at school. Is there another, and then I'm going to be one-to-one and part-time next year, so I'm not going to have the same teaching opportunities. Is there any other options that I could do for observations?
Yeah, I think I already mentioned this to you. I'm going to have a word with Raman.
Yeah.
We have some groups come in, and while you're local, you could come in and actually do some delivery here. We'll sort something out. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
anyway.
no, that's good. Yeah. Because I know that, when we go back, it's going to take a good few months even organising that, because they're going to be saying, oh, we're starting up. They're very awkward.
Yeah, so I get it said, don't worry about that. We'll actually sort something out, don't worry.
Fantastic, that's great. Thank you.
Right, okay. So we are recording, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Remember tonight. So okay, we've got Unit 13, which is equal ops basically, equality and diversity.
Yeah.
It's quite a few years ago now. The government, in its wisdom, decided to shut a lot of special needs colleges, schools, and most of the children that were in there were deemed, or the ones that were deemed suitable for mainstream, were put into mainstream education. The others were put into specialist schools, obviously.
Yeah.
But what it meant was that, and this is where the diversity came in as an important factor, not just equality, but the diversity, because of the disparate levels that you had then in classes. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Hi.
Because of the disparate levels you had in classes then, you had to actually change the actual resources that you used, the lesson planning, and everything else, really, to widen the scope of the lesson to the audience, basically, to make sure that everybody was. It comes on from there. It looks at equality and diversity and inclusiveness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically defining the meanings of equality and diversity, analysing the benefits of promoting equality and diversity for individual learners, and define legislation, employment, regulations. So learning objective 1 basically is
all of the policies,
just an outline. Right. Can I just have a chat to Ben for a second?
Oh yeah, of course, I'll make that. Yeah.
Hi Ben.
Hey, you're right.
I've got your stuff. It looks okay. I've only had a look at 39. Unfortunately, as I was just saying to you, my machine went for a burn Saturday, and I only got it back yesterday.
All right, that's all right.
So I've not been able to look at everything. What I'm going to do is, whether you stay on tonight is purely up to you, but I'll be covering most of 13, which you've done. But as soon as I've finished on tonight, I'm going to go through your 3 units you've sent, and I'll send you some feedback later on.
Yeah, no, that's fine, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's just because I'm going away next Monday, so I'm going to miss next Tuesday's session.
I'll do it straight away. As soon as this session's finished, I'll go through the stuff and give you some instant feedback. I'm not giving you my full assessment, obviously, but I'll say, yes, it's okay, or you need to look at these sections here. Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So, looking back at 13 again, LO1 is the key features and culture which promotes equality and diversity.
Yeah.
2 is the importance of promoting equality and here we're valuing diversity in lifelong learning.
Yeah.
Many of the groups, it depends, of course, on what your job is and how as you move around, you'll probably be involved in teaching different groups in the lifelong learning section because it's changed drastically over the last 10 years. There are more people, or more mature people getting involved in education now. Some that have specifically want sort of things like maths and English and ICT to improve their grasp that they never did at school. Others, we've got the NEET group, the not in education or training, that are being brought in and are being directed in. And you've got a different approach then from a teaching point of view to make sure that they are included and they understand what it's about. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, with that group that have been actually told to come down there, you'll be getting the ones that don't want to be there, basically. So you've got a totally different approach to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it should reflect on how the promotion of equality and diversity can protect learners from risk or harm. And that's basically what they do in schools now, mostly from quite a young age. They really, really make sure that people are not being bullied at the younger age, and that they get people to look at diversity. In schools now, we've got far more ethnic minorities in schools. Some schools have got hardly any English people in them.
Yeah, we've got that in our school. It's like 99% Muslim children, and then there's like the odd 1% or so. I think it is quite a high scale.
Yeah, it always was up there because it of course, funnily enough, it's a completely Jewish and Muslim section up there.
Yeah, but then we've got King's David School, which is quite close to us, so I think that's where we get the segregation from.
Yeah, but I know my friend Mohammed lives only around the corner from there. And, a couple of his kids went there. I think it's what's it called? Boca Vale's another one that has a high influx of. I mean, in the street, he's got Jewish neighbours both sides. He's Muslim. We've got an African couple on the other side who are Christian. It's it's
completely diverse over here. Yeah, it's true.
Diverse in that area. It always has been. Yeah, it always has been. And he said, some of the examples I could give of people working together are really, really amusing actually when you talk to them. Anyway, it's looking at actions that can be taken to value individual learners. And explain good practice in providing individual learners with information. So again, there's some cross-referencing available here. Unit 1, 4.2 and 4.3. Again, expand the action that we're taking if the equality and diversity policy is not implemented. You can get, it's all right having all these policies, but if you have no strategy for implementation, it's worthless. And I have been in organisations that don't have one of those, unfortunately, and it makes you wonder how they get through Ofsted and things like that. Because some of them have done. And
2.2, I could just say things like, obviously, because my learners are extremely young, so we just sort of like do equality and diversity, and like we teach them to be kind to each other, use good hands and good feet, and then we use the traffic light system. That is an implementation tool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's expanding the action that can be saying if it's not being implemented. So yours is, so you've got a strategy for implementation, and that's it. It starts at an early age and works through. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, 2.3, you can cross-reference this with unit task 2.1 and 2.3.
Okay.
LO3 is use communication strategies that promote equality and diversity. Again, you can cross-reference this with task 4.1. All these cross-references, though, always have my advisor on it. Read what you've written first, and then look at it and say, is it actually meeting that criteria? Have I written enough in there that will cover that as well?
Yeah.
If you've not, you may need to add some work to it.
But add more things into it,
Literally, when you write on your sheet, cross-reference to Unit 1, I will always go and read it. Don't forget, all your units. I'll go and have a read of it and say, and I'll
I normally go through it and then I'll add anything that I see that's missing. I'll put a little paragraph at the bottom or at the top just to cover that.
That's all it needs. I mean, I will put on, you need to do such and such a thing if it hasn't been done. Or I'll put on cross-reference checked and accepted.
Yeah.
Again, there's a handout I've put in there, but it's analyse how your own behaviour can impact on organisational culture. And again, this is an analysis, a self-analysis of how your own behaviour does reflect or impact into an organisation's culture, and maybe you know somebody who doesn't.
Yeah, I've been getting an issue now that I've moved classes that there's a lot of in-class politics going on with a lot of members of staff. So I'm trying to, so I think things like that do affect a lot of things. Yeah,
very much.
Mm.
And again, explain how working with other agencies can promote diversity.
Yeah.
And again, read and respond to the handout there at 3.1. You may have some own examples of yourself on that as well. Because I have worked with, the DUP, in Department of Work and Pensions, it's called, basically the jobs, the job office, and had people coming in from there for specific training, so that they could actually, it was getting ready for work and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. 4
is describing actions by individuals which can undermine equality and diversity. It's pretty straightforward, but it is a cross-reference from Unit 1, Task 4.1, and explain the actions taken if there is discrimination with reference to your school, workplace, policies. Yeah.
Okay.
5, reflect on your own strength in promoting it. Yeah. So it's a reflective self-assessment, really. Again, cross-unit LO1, 4 and LOs 4 and 5 have stuff in there that's very similar, worth having a look at. May not directly cross-reference, but it depending on what you've written, it may do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And task 1, your reflection is evaluate the impact of your own practice. So again, your reflection will follow on with your evaluation of that reflection. Yeah. I mean, it's surprising sometimes that you'll do, if you do a proper self-analysis of what you've done, it can be quite cathartic sometimes, because you think, I actually do that. It's not something you talk about a lot, and then when you actually look at what you do and you think, well, I do actually do that. Oh, right. Yeah, well, I'll put a tick on that. Give myself a gold star. Move on. Again, 5.3 just follows on from 5.1 and 2. If you identified any areas for development as per the PDP, which has been done at the start of your course, the PDP you did right at the beginning. Yeah. So on there. So again, significant. I put on the bottom, significant cross-referencing can be made in this unit. However, always check the strength and depth of your responses that you cross-reference on meet the ACs here. So no change there then. Now on that particular unit, we've got own behaviour impacting, and we've got a small PowerPoint on units 1, 2, 3, 11 and 13 on methods of communication. It covers all those units, So that was that one. Now, there are only 2 units left. Obviously, you've got 24 and 39. Now, 39, remind me, Ben, is it 4 LOs in that one, isn't it?
I think it might be 5, but there's only two criteria in each.
Yeah, just let me check 24 first.
There might even be 6 in 24.
Ooh.
But again, they're all really small.
Yeah, we get to a lot of units. It's a long time since I've done these, so. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6. Yeah, okay. There are only 2 ACs in 5, 2 in 4, 2 in 3. Yeah, they've only got 2. Yeah.
2 in each, except for the
Well, 3 in some, but there's 2 in most of them. Only 2 ACs. But it's looking at a specialist area. Now, as I said, some of the earlier learners said, hang on, I don't teach in a specialist area. So I actually quantified this with NCFE, and they said, yeah, they're all specialist areas. I mean, for instance, you're teaching little ones now.
Yeah.
That's
Primary, yeah.
That's specialist, yeah.
Yeah. What you teach, Ben, music and music production is a specialist area.
Yeah.
So it depends. There are very few teachers you could say that are general teachers. Most teach a specific subject. Yeah. I may have a second or even a third one sometimes, but basically they're teaching in that specialist area. So it looks at, and this is where you attach it directly to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's explaining the key aims of education and training in your own specialist area. Use your job description as a basis for the answer. Yeah. Discuss any specialist aims that are appropriate to your subject.
With 1.2, I can talk a lot about EAL students, couldn't I?
I've got the NEET group in here as well.
Yeah.
Looking to rejoin the employment market more effectively. Describe appropriate any vocational standards you're involved in. Describe any philosophical issues, professional values, and specialist approaches to teaching and learning that are required. Use of emerging technologies, etc. So it's some aims on there to give you any philosophical issues related to education training in your own area. Yeah.
Okay.
Describe the aims and structure of key qualifications in your own specialist area. So that's fairly straightforward again. It's the actual work, what you're working towards, the lesson planning and so forth in there.
Yeah, like I'm doing working towards a phonic test for the new, well, we will be. Yeah. That'll be, yeah.
Describe the aims and structure of learning programs in your own area, how they're structured and set out. Again, how your own approach to planning and preparation. And again, there will be, I'm trying to think of an area where you may have covered some of this before as well, actually. Because you've talked about yourself in the early units, 1 and 2, there may be sections that you put in there that will be directly go straight into here. Yeah.
Okay.
You may want to write some more, but if you wanted to take a whole section out of something in your own area and blob it in, and then continue, then fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, again, it's looking at inclusiveness, how your own approach to planning and preparation in your own area. Explain how your own approach to planning and preparation in your own area takes account of key curriculum issues.
I think do you know when we were doing that, is that unit, which is where we prepare our own program?
Yeah.
Our own learning program. That covers it, doesn't it, these bits?
I think. All the resources there that you had to use. Yeah. Fine. I think Deepa put one in early on where the group that she had at the time and the school she was at the time mentioned that they had to use a light system on the ceiling for some as a communication strategy.
Right.
In the SEN, So again, what sort of emerging technologies you use? I mean, Ben, in your case, you're using all sorts of technology now on there. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's the difficulty of keeping up with it.
It's just ever.
Yeah.
Say when you buy a laptop, and I bought this laptop and it was the bee's knees and everything there was to go on it. Fortunately, it was a very good one and it's still pretty good, but it's been superseded by God knows what since then.
Probably about 15 different ones.
Yeah, exactly. Give you an example. A few years ago, I had to learn how to program a machine to do some work, because the machinist that I can turn on a lathe, I can use a milling machine as an engineer and so forth, but I've never used CNC. Now I was going to have to assess people on this. Now in engineering, you're not allowed to assess anything that you can't do. Yeah. So I did a full year's course learning programming. At the end of the course, after you've written your program, you get an aluminium block, and it's got to cut whatever shapes and whatever you want into this block after you've written your program for it. Now, they only had one machine in the college, and I couldn't get on it. I was in the back of the queue. So I was actually assessing some apprentices out at Ingersoll Rand who had a big CNC machine shop. And I said, there ain't chance of me doing it on one of the machines up here. So the chief programmer said, yeah, fetch your stuff up, no problem. So I always set it up. So I brought all my stuff up and looked at it, and he's laughing his head off. So I said, what do you mean? He said, about 10 years out of date, this. He said, have you got all, you drawn all the lines up with the CNC? He said, and have you got all your overlays for your CNC? I said, yeah. He said, I'll just give me those. He said, I'll feed those in the machine, it'll do it. So I said, well, do you not have to write a program for each of the pockets you cut out? No, you don't do that anymore. It sorts out for itself.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. Amazed. Yeah. And that was just a few, it wasn't actually 10 years, actually. It was probably about 7. Complete change altogether, yeah. Yeah, we mentioned resources and what you're actually using. And the inclusiveness of those resources, which you have covered earlier. We've got.
This doesn't seem too difficult because it's just everything we do on a normal basis. So you're just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. How you actually deliver the work. Yeah. There's a whole host of those. You need to provide a detailed explanation.
I'm going to say I really hate the word reflect because I always end up analysing. I find it so hard to. Is it review or reflect? Review, isn't it? Yeah. I know.
I'm going to change that. Usually, it's a reflective review. I use a reflective review quite regularly because I do it on here for myself, but also as quality manager, I have to review other assessors' work.
Yeah.
And obviously, I watch the recordings that they've done, and I'll do a little report off each of the recordings: what went well, what didn't go well, what could have been done a bit better, stuff like that. And it's surprising actually when you actually sort of divorce yourself from it a little bit and reflect what actually happened, and being able to see it in video afterwards is brilliant because most teachers have to reflect in their head what's just happened, and how they went through it, and what they did, and what they could have done differently. It's a given thing that you do. Yeah. Being able to actually watch a recording is brilliant because then it makes you actually review and reflect, because you reflect on what's happened, and then in your review you'll write such and such a thing went okay, but I noticed that, and then you can pick stuff up that you would have probably missed. The old way. So that's one way in which technology has improved the ability to be able to do that to a better extent, purely by being able to actually watch it rather than just think about it.
So they used to do in the music uni that I worked at. They used to do performances, and obviously they were learning and forming groups and doing performances, which are like snapshots, which are not supposed to be recorded. Yeah. And then they were being filmed, and then those videos were being reviewed of a live performance. So then really, it's changing the situation there that they're being tested, that they're being like viewed on, because if they go up and they play a gig, it's gone in like those moments are gone in a second, and that's like the whole point of it. And then they were being like assessed on something which the examiner could go back over and watch and pick up on things which. So it's like funny how that it can then change the situation as well.
Of course it does. Something that you would miss, doing it the other way, actually when you can see it, you'll think, well, it can work both ways, because actually, that was absolutely brilliant. And when you look at it again, you think, I didn't really notice how good that bit was before. But yeah, it was brilliant. Oh, the other thing, I absolutely missed that altogether. Again, looking at Unit 1, 5.3 and 5.4 in there as well.
Okay.
Liaise with others within your specialist area to develop your own practice and review the impact of liaison with other teachers. So this is looking at, you need to provide evidence of student feedback records, assessor feedback records, any peer observations, anything of that nature at all. Yeah. So you need to explain the people you liaise with to develop your own practice, other tutors, social workers, if they get involved, because sometimes you've got people coming in from other agencies. One or two that are in a how should I say, medical situation as well, have other groups that actually they liaise with as well. Student referral meetings, staff development days, teaching, anything of that nature, network meetings. Any involvement that you've had with external quality assurance and monitoring, any standardisation of meetings or awarding organisation events or anything of that nature, if you get involved in it. Again, you need to review the impact of these on your own practice, what you pick up on. Again, 6 is be able to evaluate, improve and update your own performance. So it's to review the effectiveness of your own knowledge and skills. Identify your own strengths your own strengths and areas for improvement in relation to practice in the specialist area, and identifying opportunities to improve and update your own knowledge and skills. Again, if you've done a SWOT, there is a SWOT analysis on the VLE somewhere. I think you've done one, Ben, haven't you?
Yeah, I couldn't actually find it, but I definitely did one.
Do another, because it's on the VLE. You can pull one off there and just run through it, and show the findings of your own SWOT. Now, that's why we did that right at the start, because it gave you that evidence. Again, the stuff in 6.2 refer to that in Unit 1 and cross-reference it here if it's already done it, So that is 24.
Doesn't seem too daunting, that one, so that's good.
It's straightforward, And then 39, which is the one I've had a look at of yours, Ben, don't look bad at all, actually. I can't see anything. There's nothing hit me in the face, if you know what I mean. But like I say, I'll give you feedback on that as soon as we finish the session tonight. It will have to be tonight. Could be actually in the morning. I'm not going in the office in the morning, so I might leave it till in the morning.
That's all right.
What I've got to do later on.
So I've sent you the last 4 then. Yeah. 11, 13.
Yeah. Well, 11 was okay. I already said 11 was okay, haven't I?
It needed
I sent
2
it back
little
in the
bits.
mail. It looked fine to me. There didn't look any problems. But the 13, 24 and 39 are the one I need to look at,
Oh, I must have missed that email.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, no, there it is.
Oops, back on there. 24,
No, sorry, you sent it back up to 3.5.
Ah, right. But I said there was no issues. There were no issues that I'd put on there, was there, at that point?
Yeah, that's right, All fine up to 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've sent those 2.
Yeah.
Sent.
Well, I'll pick those up and I'll give you I'll do some tonight and I'll finish them off in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great.
So
Thank you.
I've got to go out after. I've just remembered. But yeah, Absha, are you okay with those 2?
Yeah, I should be fine to get on with them now.
Again, as soon as you've got anything, just send it through to me. If you're not sure, I want some feedback or a bit of direction, whatever, just contact me straight off and I'll sort it out.
And then before, because I've only got a week or so left in school now, so for 39, do I need any type of evidence from school, or am I okay with just getting it on by myself.
You've already got. What I'll do, I've got all the stuff you've sent me.
Yeah.
All the appendices and so forth. I'll have a look through those over the next few days and see if there's anything missing from there. I've just spotted something that is missing, and that's your SWOT analysis.
Oh yeah, I've not done one though. I think that's why. Yeah. So I'll do one this SWOT analysis. Yeah.
And there is a PDP template there as well. It might be worth doing one of those. I've always done a personal development plan. Even now, you know what I'm doing, because I've got to keep up to date with most of the things that are changing and going on. So if there are events that are going to assist me to do that, I'll probably sign myself onto some of those to get sorted out. Okay, guys. If there's nothing more, I think we will call that a draw tonight. And again,
thanks, Bill.
Any issues? Just give me a contact, and I'll sort you out tonight and tomorrow morning, Ben.
Thank you very much.
No problem, guys.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.